Namaste. Welcome to another edition of Pan Asian. My name is Skiz Fernando. I'm your gastronomic guide to the wonderful world of Asian cuisine. Today on Pan Asian, we're going to make a popular Indian dish called Baigan Bharta, which basically translates to eggplant with minced vegetables. And if you've eaten at an Indian restaurant, you've no doubt had this dish. It's a very popular dish. There are a lot of recipes out there for this dish and a lot of different variations, but I chose a recipe from this new book on Hippocrene Books. It's called Spices and Seasons, Simple Sustainable Indian Cuisine by Rinku Bhattacharya. And I'll just tweak the recipe a little, but this is a really good recipe. It's quick, it's easy, delicious, and without further delay, I'm going to show you how to make this dish in your very own kitchen. You ready? Let's go. Okay, to make this dish, you're going to need 1 large or 2 medium eggplants, about 1.5 pounds altogether. I've got this nice big eggplant here. 3 tablespoons of oil. I'm using canola. 3 to 4 medium ripe tomatoes. 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. 1 medium red onion, finely chopped. 2 teaspoons of crushed coriander seeds. 2 teaspoons of ginger paste. 6 cloves of garlic, crushed. About a teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper powder. 2 tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro leaves. And finally, because I like a little extra heat, I'm adding 2 to 3 green chilies, chopped, as an optional ingredient. Now, before you roast your eggplant, you might want to cover it with tin foil, like I've done here, so it doesn't create a huge mess. So all you're going to do is pretty much turn on the flame to kind of a low to medium heat. And place that eggplant right on top. And you're gonna monitor it and kind of turn it around as each side chars. It's nice to have a set of tongs for that. While your eggplant is charring, you also want to char your tomatoes. And we're gonna do that in the oven. And we're just gonna remove the stems from the tomatoes like this. Put them in a baking pan and douse them with about a total of a tablespoon of oil. And I'm just going to preheat the oven to about, say, 300 and put these in there and also watch them because I just want them to get slightly charred on the outside. And here, as you can see, the eggplant is getting a nice char. And this is what the eggplant is going to look like when you're done. As you can see, I've removed it to a cutting board so it can cool off a little bit. Now, while we're waiting for those tomatoes to char, I'm going to get the rest of the dish going. And for that, I will need a wok. All right, once the wok is hot, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. Kind of slosh that around. And then I'm going to add my cumin seeds. And just kind of release the flavors of those. And just keep them moving because you don't want to get them burned. And then immediately I'm going to add my onions. And this is not in the official recipe, but I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of turmeric powder just for some color. And as you can see, it really makes those red onions pop. And as you can see, the onions have cooked down for about 5 minutes here. They're nice and translucent. So I'm going to add our coriander, crushed garlic, and the ginger. I'm going to let all these flavors combine. And once you can smell that garlic aroma popping, you can just turn off the heat for a second, and let's check on our tomatoes. And here they are. I'm just going to remove them to a cutting board here. And as you can see, they're not completely charred, but they have a nice color. And while these tomatoes cool down a bit, I'm going to remove the skin of the eggplant. You can actually use a knife if you like. And the skin just kind of peels right off, and you're left with this nice smoky eggplant flesh. As you can see right there. And you see how easy the tomato skin just kind of comes off? These tomatoes have kind of been stewed in their own juices. And when I've removed the skin, I'm just going to do a rough chop. Like that. And I'm going to take the eggplant and put it into a bowl. I'm going to take our eggplant and reintroduce it back into the pan. And I'm also going to take our tomatoes, just like that, and just kind of mash it up with your spoon. If you want, you can puree the tomatoes in a blender as well as the eggplant, but I think it's important to have a little texture in this dish as far as kind of like chunks that you can really bite on. And once the eggplant and tomato have been nicely incorporated into the mix, we are going to add our cayenne pepper for a little heat, my green chilies for added heat, the salt, and the coriander leaves, otherwise known as cilantro. And we're going to incorporate all these ingredients into the mix. Cook it down for another couple minutes. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our dish. It's called Baigan Bharta, eggplant with minced vegetables. A dish from India here on Pan Asian. And yes, that's how easy it is to make this dish, folks. And you can either serve it with some steamed white basmati rice with a little raita on the side, or have it with the Indian flatbread like chapati or roti. I've got some garlic naan here. And it can either be a main dish or a snack, even an appetizer. And no utensils necessary here, folks. I'm just gonna go in with the bread. Wow. It's like an explosion of flavors in my mouth. Sweet, smoky, spicy, savory. And even though it looks like a mash, you got those little chunks of tomato and eggplant that you bite into. Really solid. And did I mention too that this is a vegan dish, folks? That's right, no animal fat in here, so it's incredibly healthy too. And if I were you, I would pick up the book Spices and Seasons. There's a lot of great, healthy, delicious recipes in here. My name is Skiz Fernando, and I will see you next time on Pan Asian.